Yeah. What you crying for? What you complain about? Breathe. Nah, seriously, take a breath. How many people want to do that and can't? Walk outside. Some people ain't got freedom. They ain't gonna never see the light of day. You know what I mean? Real. I can't front, I do it too. I need somebody to check me. I need you to edify me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thankful for being alive.
I am so thankful for being alive. Today was a good day. I opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I woke up today. So many can't say the same. I can't complain.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for being alive.
Yeah. Don't quit, you just hit a bump in the road. You detoured when you thought you had it under control. Whether you winning or losing, you stuck with your soul. Focus on eternity, happiness comes and it goes. Praying you'll see a miracle when they right under your nose. Today you woke up and your heart was beating, and you started breathing. Just for you, I made this one for the road. This for the car when you on the way to that job that you hate. You want to keep the feast days, but it's hard to escape. Yo, they requested you on the Sabbath, now you about to quit. It's like with every commandment, they want the opposite. Meanwhile, you staying positive, you need a job to live. A couple questions to settle that. Like, would the Father have us living check to check? Subject to payments, buried by several debts. I'm thankful for this life, but I pray heaven's next.
I'm so thankful for being alive. Today was a good day. I opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I woke up today. So many can't say the same. I can't complain. I'm thankful for being alive.
Yeah. I know why I'm living. My purpose is serving others. Never despise the Father's correction. I learned to love it. Carnal minds don't want the truth, they want their version of it. Worldly riches are temporal, I noticed them turning colors. His treasures are never tarnished. Started to study harder, it made me a better artist. They asking me what's your secret. He fed you manna from heaven, you wanna run to Egypt? Toting choppers like, am I really my brother's keeper? You are if you love your people. We living like kamikaze, ambulances, cops and sirens. When we gon' stop the violence? Quote the scripture, it's an aqua silence. I can sing a song that'll calm the climate. Don't just talk about it, we walk about it. The covenant, our fathers forgot it. We remember now it's a door for the sheep to enter. Believe on Christ and you gon' be saved. I'ma keep it simple. Get that Holy Spirit in you and keep it in.
I am so thankful for being alive. Today was a good day. I opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I woke up today. So many can't say the same. I can't complain. I'm thankful for being alive. I am so thankful for being alive. Today was a good day. I opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I woke up today. So many can't say the same. I can't complain. I'm thankful for being alive. Yeah.
Bringing me joy. Each new blessing I receive
Hallelujah. Yeah. I received blessed miracles, I can't tell you what happened. 1 minute feeling hopeless, the next minute we laughing. Medical conditions met with the power of fasting. Learning secrets that are frequently kept from the masses. I'm blessed in the city, blessed in the field. Blessed to have everything available in your will. Blessed to overcome my flesh, it be giving me chills. Blessed to see humility can destroy and rebuild. My wife's womb is blessed even though we lost two. Revelation a blessing, the situation was awful. A weapon form, my wife almost lost her life, but I called you. Then she woke up, guess that demon got his throat cut. Relationship tribulations, they almost broke us. Formerly under pressure, I wasn't solid, I would fold up. Scared to stand on what I said I believe. But you know what? Blessings come down when faith and obedience go up. Blessings, 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 blessings.
Oh, it's bringing me joy. Blessings. Oh, I receive blessings. Oh, it's bringing me joy. Blessings. Oh, I receive blessings falling down on me. It keeps bringing me joy. Each new blessing I receive, it keeps bringing me joy.
Yeah. Blessed with your conviction when I sin. Blessed with the addiction to repent. Yeah. Blessed with the desire to be righteous. I remember a time when I was nothing like this, yeah. I remember when what I wanted was what I wanted. No discipline or wise judgment. That's when my God was my stomach. And it's pride for destruction, arrogance for you start crashing. Felt the repercussions, turned from sin and started fasting. 9 to 5 for a paycheck, till you gave me my passion. For the time being, I gave my family an African address to give us peace from police and American madness. Give us an upright heart so we serve you with gladness. Thankful for every breath you've allowed me to breathe. For every form of success you've allowed me to reach. For every time you let me speak to your people and preach. For a wife with a personal standard of a queen. Her accountability helped me become a king. A loving mother to my seeds, a blessing indeed. In preparation for Shabbat, she cooking a feast. Taught my children how to worship and taught them to read. Father, you keep saving me from the powers that be. You'll never let the enemy devour Jacob's seed. I live in reverse of every curse in Deuteronomy. I can forsake possessions. True blessing is your inner peace. Blessings, 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 blessings.
Oh, it's bringing me joy. Blessings. Oh, I receive blessings. Oh, it's bringing me joy. Blessings. Oh, I receive blessings falling down on me. It keeps bringing me joy. Each new blessing I receive, it keeps bringing me joy.
Hallelujah. If you're listening to this, may the blessing of the Most High be upon you and your family. May you forsake this world, repent for your sin, turn and live a righteous life. Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High.
Stay strong and endure.
that's fighting my spirit. I seen this, the outcome is wicked. I got old love knocking at my door. She like, can you make room one more? Ain't tryna be around all that, I'm tryna ground all that. I'm tryna get back to the way just to confound all that. Time to turn back to the mission. Time to take back what is missing. Checking my bags, I be a minute. Through all the pain and the affliction, I know it's just a war inside. It's just a war inside. Trying to control my mind, but I hold the line. I gotta hold the line. Stay strong and endure. Don't look back. Don't look back. Let the new men live. Just fight back. Fight back and win. I'm on it. Lately I've been staying out the way, cause I don't want that bad sneaking up on me today. And I don't waste my time on what people, what they think. I focus on what's mine, doesn't matter what they say. Ay, I learned that love from my brother, not to make friend with the devil. If I offend them, vice versa, we gon' bounce back like some rubber. Watch out now, nah. No fiction, straight facts, let the heathen react. This is the patient of the saint, cause it's a war inside. Yes, it's a war inside. And I ain't trying to die, I gotta hold the line, I gotta keep my mind, I gotta hold it down all at the same damn time. War inside, it's just a war inside. Trying to control my mind, but I hold the line. I gotta hold the line. Stay strong and endure. Don't look back, don't look back. Let the new men live. Just fight back and win. Created to be upright. I ain't something that they don't like. Give me a minute if you don't mind. Understanding it is no price. Worldly lust is what we don't need, but they can tell you what's contrary. You the greatest, but they won't say. So raise your glass as a do say. I'm created to be upright. I'm created to be upright. I'm created to be upright.
Make it make sense. Holding on to a fence while you straddling the fence. It make sense. Make it make sense. Some of you were sent, some of y'all just went. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How you buy some shoes but you can't even pay the rent? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make. Man rejected me, but God selected me, and God accepted me, and God protected me. See, man's opinion belong inside the garbage bin, and sin should never have dominion in my heart again. They put in work, boy, cause if you don't, you not a man. Every church boy should grow into a godly man. Man of integrity, undeniably trustworthy. Kingdom identity, reliable and love mercy. Not greedy for gain of church contribution. You trying to pimp the church, that's spiritual prostitution. God don't play about his children. You can't treat his children evil. Hey, you can build the building, but we gon' build the people. Turn this up in your speaker and make the devil mad. I keep reaching for my Bible, you can keep the bag. I got this signal from heaven that never lags. Hey, he's all I really need and all that I really have. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Jesus turned water to wine. That's your reason to get bent. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How you twist the word of God and try to say that's what he meant? Nah, make it make sense. Make it make sense. How long you been a Christian? Why your armor got no dent? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make sense. Hey, how
hop out in an 87 Cutlass. How you cast out devils, yet you gutless in the public. Hey, you stay where it's safe though. Take me to the ruckus. A faith that can't be tested is a faith that can't be trusted. Hey, yeah, you went to Bible school, but bet they didn't teach you this. Only Holy Spirit can show you what heaven's secret is. Hey, it's a special consecration, a private preparation, meditation, concentration. And it's a kingdom presentation, a kingdom demonstration with heavenly elevation. Hey, put yourself last and put your neighbor first. Hey, that's the way it works. Don't forget the prayer works. Another day at work, time to put your faith to work. Hey, look around the church. Some of y'all can't make the work. Most of us was thinking it, but I'm the one that said it first. Hey, it's okay to cry, sis. It's okay to hurt. Hey, I remember swimming rivers in my teardrops. Like fear not, gotta make your tears stop. Hey, I remember every day I used to pill pop. I got so drunk I used to pass out on the hilltop. Hey, but it's different now. I no longer chase the blunt, and I'd be dumb if I let Satan play me like a chump. And blessed be the name of the Lord. I said from this time forth and forevermore. Hey, make it make sense. Tell them make it make sense. Holding on to a fence while you straddling the fence. Hey, make it make sense. Tell them make it make sense. Some of y'all was sent, some of y'all just went. Hey, make it make sense. Make it make sense. How you buy some shoes but you can't even pay the rent? And make it make sense. Tell them make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make sense. And make it make sense. Jesus turned water to wine. That's your reason to get bent. Nah, make it make sense. Hey, make it make sense. How you twist the word of God and try to say that's what he meant? Man, make it make sense. Hey, make it make sense. How long you been a Christian yet your armor got no dent? Make it make sense. And make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make sense. Yo. Better make it make sense. Better make it make sense. Better make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make sense.
Straight from the throne. We built the altar with the unhewn stones. Roam through the city, all we see is these bones. So my face like flint till I wake a couple souls. A prophet hated by his own, so the father sent his son to bring the tribes of Jacob home. Jumping through these traps, cause they trying to see us gone. But we walking through the fire just like dangling in bros. From every sheep to her zone, we stay inside the book because the book is all we own. Heritage and you better hold it on. We like David fighting giants with no armor on a stone. We face east as a car home. We face east just to call home. We can't sleep till we all home. We won't rest till they all gone. So I guess that we be calling out they all bones. Bless the seed, invest the deep in the laws of our God. Make it Elohim, Shema, Warapah, all the side the king. Barakatah, Yahweh, and Mashad Nagim. Bless the seed, invest the deep in the laws of our God. Make it Elohim, Shema, Warapah, all the side the king. Barakatah, Yahweh, and Mashad Nagim. From Bereshit to the books in Greek, the dragon took the sheep. Man, the book complete. The father looked for peace, but we shouldn't the beast. Now we up until our power put the hook in cheek. Shema, Yasha Allah, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ahad. He the tower till he give us the power of God. Though in the tower you would never devour a tribe. The Lord despised all you devils, your hours arrive. Bless the seed that kept the peace. Never forgot the poor and he kept the feast. We trying to dodge destruction, they can't stop the seed. Barakatah, Yahweh, and Mashad Nagim. Bless the seed that kept the peace. Never forgot the poor and he kept the feast. Trying to dodge destruction, they can't stop the seed. Barakatah, Yahweh, and Mashad Nagim.
yo. Shalom, shalom. You on mute,
Slakia. Shalom. Shabbat, everybody. Welcome to another Sabbath morning brew. I am Officer Knock, and I am with
Officer Yawasab, shalom.
Shalom. So we got an excellent lesson. Officer Yawasab's coming out with an excellent lesson this morning. Before we get started, though, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Mashiach Yahweh Shai. We want to thank everyone for being here this morning. As you see, we have two officers today. Captain Aharon is not in the midst this morning, but he is with us in spirit. So how we like to get this started, we know how he likes to do this. We want everybody in the chat first to come in, like, share, and subscribe. And then also, let's get those Tawada Yahwehs in the chat before we get started this morning. Tawada Yahweh Shai. Let's get those Tawada Yahwehs in.
Yeah, let's get that, man. Let's praise the Lord real quick. The water Yahweh.
All praises.
All praises to the Most High, man. How you feeling today, Not?
Oh, man, I'm enduring. Feeling good, man. Ready to get this lesson going. Ready to hear what you got for us this morning for that Sabbath morning brew. Get it going. Yeah, I know we got. Let me bring in Banyan.
Shalom.
How y'all get that on y'all screen, man? I don't want to be left by myself.
You gotta. You gotta get it from one. Hey, send it to him. Send it to him. Precepts. Banyamin, you can send it. Banyamin, you can send it to him though. Actually, can't you?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Yeah. Banyamin got you for sure. But so this morning we're gonna get started with some shout outs this morning, of course.
That's right.
And but before we do that, I want to give out I want to plug in some events that'll be happening coming up soon. We have a groundbreaking in San Francisco. So anyone who is out in the Bay, I know it's early morning right now. Anyone out in the Bay Area, if you're able to attend, let me pop that up for you right now. It's going to be August 26th at in San Francisco, the official camp groundbreaking. Anointed House of Saints. We will be in unity with the unity camp with Believers of the Way, Nation of Kings and Priests, and Malachium. This will be at 12 p.m. until at the Pier 39, the famous Pier 39 in San Francisco, right in front of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream Parlor. If anyone is able to attend, please do so. That we'll be out there with our Captain Yahweh and our Captain Shaquat, who are always bringing out the truth, and sincerity. So we want everybody, if anybody's out in that area, please come out. We do have some other officers and soldiers that'll be coming from other areas to come out there for the groundbreaking. So it's going to be a great event. We got tabernacles coming up. I believe the RSVPs are closed up. But hey, you know what? There's always a way that if you can't make it, that you can somehow support us. You can send us donations. We can send it through us through our Cash App at Anointed HOS. I should say, well, you can see it at the top of the screen. Let me put it up at the top of the screen for you, and you can follow that. If you want to help donate for our feast days, we would gladly appreciate that. Let me find that real quick. Right there. There we go. It should be up there somewhere, Cash App. Okay. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started with these shout outs. We get this lesson started this morning. First, I want to give a shout out. Or Banyamin, you want to do it?
Good. Good. You got it on the screen?
Yep.
All right. Hardy Shalom to Zephaniah Yasharala, first in the building. Shalom.
Shalom.
To our beloved sister Joan Gilchrist. Shalom, sis. Good to see you in the building.
Shalom.
Abaya the Humble. Shalom, sis. Good to see you. Shah Shabbat. Be like An. Shalom, Mark. How you doing, man? AHOS Kadash. Shalom, Mark. How you doing, man? Larita Slakia. Shalom, sis. Soldier Tawabia in the building. How you doing, Art? World Without End. Shalom. Mighty brother right there. AHOS Kazakia. Shalom, Art. How you doing, man? Shalom.
Shalom,
Soldier boys. Shalom, Sister Gabriella. Good to see you, sis. Shalom, Sister L. How you doing, sis? Shah Shabbat. Shalom, shalom, mighty Captain Jonathan in the building. And then we got right back to back Cap Yahweh, he's in the building as well. Shalom, shalom. We got brother Hezekiah in the building. Shalom up. Anariah Israel, shalom, shalom. DTA Twan, shalom, shalom. What else we got? Baraza Yah Judah, shalom, shalom. How you doing, up? Judah de Agape, shalom, shalom, up. Captain Shaquat in the building, Cali boys. You got a Princess Abia. Abaya. See, I always messing this one up. 1,000 apologies. I always mess with somebody's name. Shalom, shalom, sis. Gina was here. Shalom, up.
All right. I think that might be it.
Yeah.
For those, if we missed you, we see you in the chat later on. We'll try and give you a shout out. But we're going to go ahead and get this started. I didn't see did we put them to water your house in the chat? I didn't check.
Oh, yeah, Con, they did.
They did. All right. All praise, all praise. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get this lesson started. Like I said, the lesson today is called Finding Your Balance in the Lord. Finding your balance in the Lord. And our officer, Yawasop, is going to come out with the mighty lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to yield over to you, officer. Take the lead.
Con, all
yours.
All praises to the Most High, man. So I put this lesson together, man. More especially, this is a good lesson to learn for brothers coming into this thing. You know what I'm saying? We just came up. We just shout out to the new prospect. We just finished the prospecting phase, and brothers just coming into this thing.
Right.
And now it's brothers trying to find a balance between doing the work and family life and work life and things like that. And these are lessons that that are important and that I wish that I would learn coming in. You said what not?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't say nothing.
Okay, fine. So yeah, these are lessons that me myself personally wish that I would have, learned coming into this thing. And a lot of us, I'm sure, right? But at the end of the day, we all learning, right, how to be a nation again. We all learning how to love one another again. So finding that balance between the work and everyday life is very important.
That's right.
You say what, King?
No, I was agreeing.
Calling all praise to the Most High. Let's get Sirach chapter 23 and verse 24. Right? Let's get that. And let's get Sirach 33 and 17 to open it up. Right?
All right.
But again, so it's
first one you called was 23.
23 and 24. Like I said, we just finished the prospecting phase. Right, and this is important for those brothers coming in. You know what I'm saying? This understanding. Right.
Go
ahead, King.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 23, verse 24. Okay.
Hold on. 24 and
it's 24 and 23.
Matter of fact, get Sirach 33 and 24 and 34, Salaki. 24 and
34. That's what I was. The book of Sirach, chapter 24, verse 34. And it reads, "Behold, that I have not labored for my life, Salakia. Behold, that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom."
Right. So behold, we labor not for ourselves only. So the things that we go through, right? We go through those things and we learn through those things. So the brothers behind us won't make those same mistakes.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? So these are mistakes that some of the things that I'm bringing out in this lesson, right, are some mistakes that I made coming into this truth, right? And Lord willing, if you listen and you heed, you won't make these same mistakes coming into this thing, right? Let's get that in Sirach chapter 33 and verse 17. Baba Kashaf. Start at verse 16.
Okay. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse 16. I awake up last of all. as one that gathereth after the grape gatherers. By the blessing of Yahweh I profited,
Right.
and filled my winepress like a gatherer of grapes.
Right. So it's saying I awaken last of all. So this brother, he likened himself into a person that goes out and gather grapes out of the field, right? And we this spiritually going into a person that's waking up into this truth, right? You say you waking up last after the gate gathers, but you by the blessing of the Lord, he profited you, right? So you feel in your works was just as much as the works of the brothers coming in that came in before you. Salaki. Read verse 17.
Yeah. Verse 17. Consider that I labored not for myself only,
Right?
but for all them that seek learning.
Read that one more time.
Yeah, verse 17. Consider that I labor not for myself only.
Right. So again, right?
Mhm.
We labor not for ourselves only, right? Some things we learn a little later than everybody else, but at the end of the day, it's all gonna profit everybody that's around us, right? If you apply it, right? Yeah, you might wake up, you might learn some things a little later than everybody else, but at the end of the day, it's all in the all everything's of the Lord, right? Maybe the Lord wanted you to make those mistakes, so everybody behind you don't make those mistakes. So that's how we build a better nation going forward.
Yeah.
Right? We can't build a better nation if I do everything right, all just coming in. If I don't make no mistakes, how I'm gonna teach everybody behind me, right? If they going through that same thing, right? But it say I because I labor not for myself only, but for what? All those that seek learning.
Yeah.
So everybody that's coming to learn, right? Yahweh made these mistakes. Ben Yamya made these mistakes. Here's not how to make those same mistakes, right? And this is how we learn to find our balance in this truth coming forward, right?
Lovely.
Go ahead, King.
I don't know if he's going to touch on Proverbs 24.
Go ahead. You can bring it up.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 16. It's like that's like an echo. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 16. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So this whole truth is an up and down battle. You know, there's some good days and some bad days, but we have to keep enduring in order to, you know, live out the rest of our lives in the good days when the Most High brings the kingdom on this earth. All right. So we have to keep enduring in this truth. We have to keep girding ourselves in this truth, obtaining wisdom every day. Because we, you know, there are times we may fall. But that's why Christ said, be ye perfect as my Father in heaven is perfect. That means that it's possible.
Hey, that's right. That's right, man. Read that one more time, Baba Kashar. That's a mighty precept.
The Proverbs?
Yeah, come.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 16. For a just man falleth 7 times.
Right. So, Salakia, I'm just going to add to that point, right? Because that was a mighty point, right? A just man going to fall 7 times. What makes that man just, right? What makes that man just, right? He fall and he get back up, right? He learned from his mistakes, right? Hey, Shalom.
That's your daughter?
Yeah, God, that's my youngest daughter.
Yeah, Shalom.
All praises to the Most High, right? She wanted to come give me a hug. She must know I needed that thing, right? But what did it say? Oh, just man falleth 7 times. But what makes that man just? He gets back up, right? Mm-hmm. He learns from that mistake and he teaches the people behind him, right? So that's one thing that we have to learn and do. Remember coming in, right? It's possible to be perfect, but the walk is not gonna be perfect starting out. Right?
Wow. Right. I don't know if you want to touch on Job in this lesson. So if you are, I'll yield.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, King.
Let's look at Job, right? When we look at the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 1, and it reads. Salaki, what you said? Okay.
I was letting you know I'm about to grab my charger, Salaki.
Okay. This is the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 1.
I'll go ahead and read for you.
Yeah. Oh, okay, time.
Let me get there. It's the book of Job. Just one from the top.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright.
So, Slakia. So, Job is what?
That man was perfect and upright.
So, Job was a perfect and upright man. So, that means that Job walked in the law, statutes, commandments that the Most High had given unto us to follow. Right? Keep reading.
And one that feared God and eschewed evil.
Slakia. So, he feared God and he eschewed evil. That means that he basically detested or he stayed away from evil, right? So Job is a perfect and upright man. And even in this truth, that's what we strive to be. But you have to understand that we also have to stay humble because the Most High resists the proud, right? Now, in the book of Job, it does not show that Job was boastful or prideful about the possessions in which the Most High had blessed him. But as we read the first and second chapter of Job, right, we see that you know what? I don't want to veer away from your lesson a little bit, but I'm just jump into this real quick, and make my points clean. Knock, if you could you jump down to verse 6, read down to 7.
This is the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord.
So the sons of God are in heaven, right? Doing roll call to the Most High, right? Most High is the captain, and you got his soldiers as the sons of God in heaven, the angels, however you want to look at it, right? Now, there's something else that happened during this account. Keep going.
God. And Satan came also among them.
So now Satan came among these same sons of God, right? So even Satan is in attendance, you know. So for the people who understands that Satan basically follows the will of the Most High, Satan is an instrument in which the Most High uses to test us day in and day out. So when we come to serve the Most High, guess what? He sent his best man to come test us, especially when you try to serve him in spirit and in truth, right? Keep going.
God. And Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
So Satan, he is everywhere. He goes and tests every one of us who's in this truth to make sure that we are girded up. And if we resist him, he will flee from us, like the scripture says. But if we do not resist him, guess what? We're going to suffer in sin, and we're going to move further away from the Most High, right? We're going to move further away from wisdom, knowledge, understanding, right? Now, read verse 8. Just read verse 8.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil?
So Job, there is none like him on the earth at this point in time. During this time period, there was no one like him on the earth. So Job is the best of the best. So yes, you could even be the best of the best in this truth. But just like Proverbs 24:16 says, you could also, it'll be a time where you could also fall. But if you stay girded up and keeping yourselves diligently focused on the Most High and his words, you can also become an acceptable person unto him, right? Now, in the story of Job, even though Job had all these calamities happen to him, he never wavered. He went through, he questioned himself, and he examined himself to see whether or not, hey, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm walking incorrectly somehow, because the Most High doesn't make any mistakes, right? So he's questioning himself more then he's questioning the Lord. Because when we have disasters that come upon us, we start to question him. We start to ask, why, Lord? Like, why you do this to me? Like he has your evil intent in his mind. The Most High cares for those who love him, and he gives them an expected end, which is nothing but peace, like it says in Jeremiah 29:11. So the story of Job is a very good story to show how we must harden ourselves up. Sorry, Slakia. We must harden ourselves against Satan's attacks and advances towards us, so that we can now be that acceptable product. Because in the end of Job, it literally states how the Most High gave him sevenfold more than what he had before, and Job was already a rich man. So my point being, and I'm gonna land my plane, like what the brothers bringing out, like we have to also understand that the Most High creates peace and he makes evil. So when we are walking in the truth, we have to understand that we will still have to find a balance, right? That there's going to be a season of good and maybe a season of bad, but we always have to stay on that straight and narrow and stay girded. And I'm gonna land my plane right there.
Khan, all praise to the Most High, man. A mighty breakdown. The brother Hezekiah, man, all praise to the Most High that you came, the Lord brought you back out of that thing, right? You say, I will confess that I fell back into smoking weed again, and the Most High pulled me back out of it twice, right? All praise to the Most High, man. But just want you to be careful, man. Don't keep going back to that thing, right?
That's right.
We're talking. And then the Lord brought you out. Let me get Baruch 4:28, Baba Kashar.
I got you. Luke 4:28.
All praise to the Most High, man. You fall, you get back up, bro.
There's a book of Brew, chapter 4:28. For he that had brought these plagues upon you.
No, Salaki, you said Baruch 4:28.
Oh, 28. Sorry, Salaki, that's 29. My fault. There's the book of Brew, chapter 4:28. Whereas it was your mind to go astray from God.
Right.
So, being returned, seek him 10 times more.
Right. All praise to the Most High, man. So you don't keep making those same mistakes over and over again, right? What we got to do, seek the Lord 10 times more when we come back into this thing.
It's lucky. Could I read 29 too?
Go ahead, Khan.
Verse 29. For he that had brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy again with your salvation. And this is right. This goes to the point what I was saying in Job.
Hey, that's right. That's right. So you want to cleave, like, what's going back? Because sometimes our people fall back into smoking weed because of stress. You get what I'm saying? And the things that's going on around them. But you don't want to let that be the thing that you feel like gets you up out of that stress, right? It says in Wisdom of Solomon 16:12. Let me get that. For it, I compare.
I got you. 16 and 12.
Yeah, Con. 16.
15 or 16?
16.
Okay. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 12. For it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health.
Right.
But thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things.
Right. So like I said, a lot of our people go back into smoking weed because they stressed out, right? Because they feel like it'll help them in their current state. But they say it's neither herb nor mollifying plaster that brings you back to health, but the word of the Lord. So, right, when the Lord bring you back out of that thing, we want to seek the Lord 10 times more, right, than we did before. Then when we went back and fell back into that thing that hurt us, or went back into that thing that's contrary to what the Lord told us to do, right? So all praise to the Most High, the Wadi Yahweh, that the brother came up out of that thing. And so you say what?
It's Slakia.
Go ahead, King.
Yeah. I want to bring out these precepts that Boaz brought up. This is someone get 1 Peter chapter 4, start at verse 12 and 13. This goes to the point also that Banyamin had brought up, or to the point of the lesson too.
There's a book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, and so inasmuch as ye are partakers of Yahushua's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, he may be glad also with exceeding joy. Verse 14, if ye be
No,
reproached.
that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, but that just goes to the point earlier. You know, think it not, it says beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial. You know, when we come into this truth and we accept Christ, we have to know that Christ said we were going to suffer because he suffered. So this is a part of the job, a part of the sacrifice that we give, that shows that we are trying to be partakers with one in Christ, right? If you go to matter of fact, go to read verse 1, 1 Peter verse 1, because it kind of explains it right from the 1 Peter chapter 4:1.
There's the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 1. For as much then as Hamashiach had suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind.
Same mind.
For he that had suffered in the flesh had ceased from sin.
There it is right there. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin. You know, I mean, that's how we know. You know what I'm saying? That we're trying to do the right thing. We have to suffer in this, right? That's what this goes into. You know, Christ gave us and told us what the issue would be, so we knew what we were going to be dealing with before we got into this. You know, so I just want to bring that point. I yield.
All praise to the Most High. But ultimately, right, we're gonna go through these temptations, but we don't want to cleave. We want to cleave unto the Lord, right, and make not haste in the time of trouble, as we learn in Sirach 2. Right, so go back and read Sirach 2, brother. Whenever you feel like you're starting to go through that type of stuff, and these things that help get your spirit built up. But ultimately, you know, read the laws, go read through the Proverbs, things like that, right? Because those are going to be the things that help you in those times of need, in those times of stress, right? But okay, Khan, all praise to the Most High. Get into the lesson. It's like too often, you know, we find ourselves overwhelmed with everyday tasks. You know, some of us run businesses, some of us have multiple jobs, and you know, just trying to make ends meet in this captivity. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we all got a bunch of things going on. We got errands after work, you know, spending time with family, teaching family, you know what I'm saying? A long time with your spouse, you know, paying bills, cooking dinner, you know, whatever it is, right? And lose, right? Giving the Most High his time, right? And ultimately, like we tend to put serving the Lord on the back burner, right? We're doing everything else, you know what I'm saying? We make the work of the Lord secondary, right? Which ultimately, when you do things like that, when we do things like that, we tend to make those things our God, right? Unconsciously, though. Like I'm sure ain't nobody in their right mind is gonna say, well, I'm gonna make this my God over the Most High God if they know better, right? Nobody walking in His truth is gonna do that if they in their right mind. But subconsciously, right, we tend to do that. That's what we doing when we put things before serving the Lord, right? And it's like we almost forget what our duties are. You know what I'm saying? Let's get Sirach chapter 12 and verse 13, right? Let's get that real quick.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 13.
Right.
Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent?
No, Salakia, Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. My bad.
Ecclesiastes
chapter 12.
Con.
Right.
Book of Ecclesiastes.
So what I'm saying is that, you know, we tend to forget that the Most High is the reason that we have these things, right? We got a job that pays. Some of us have jobs that pay good. Some of us have jobs just enough to pay the bills or whatever. Some of us have jobs just enough to feed our family, right? But at the end of the day, it's the Lord. It's the Lord. It's of the Lord that we have these things, and we should be thankful for these things, right? It's of the Lord that we have our job. It's of the Lord that we have our family to take care of, right? But ultimately, we don't want to lose track of what our real duty is, our whole purpose on being on this earth is. Let's bring that up, Buck Shot.
You got it, Mark?
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13.
Uh-huh.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments.
Fear what?
Fear God and keep his commandments.
That's right. Keep going.
For this is the duty of man.
So this
Salakia.
is
Salakia. For this is the whole duty of man.
Right? So it's like we find ourselves trying to balance these things. You get what I'm saying? And on a grand scale of things, we tend to forget that taking care of your family, going to work, right, ultimately is doing the work of the Most High. Right? If we stop looking at it separately, right? Well, I can't read because I gotta take care of my family. I can't read because I gotta go to work. Well, brother, the Most High gave you that job for a reason. He wants you to go to work. He wants you to take care of your family. He wants you to spend time with your rib. He wants you to spend time with your children and teach them up. But you have to bring everything back to him at the end of the day. You have to start with the Lord, right? And this lesson that I'm bringing out today is going into that thing, right? It's going into finding that balance first in Yahweh, right? And ultimately, everything else will play itself out, right? Let's get that in Matthew chapter 6, right? Matthew chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse number 25.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 25.
Uh-huh.
Therefore I say unto you.
Salakia, let's get Proverbs 11, too. Let's get that one first. Proverbs 11 and 1.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 1.
Right.
This is right where I was going, actually. That's why I got it. All praises. A false balance is abomination to the Lord.
Read that again.
A false balance is abomination to the Lord.
Uh-huh.
But a just weight is his delight.
That's right. Spending too much time with your family or spending too much time at work, right? You're going to have problems at home with your wife. You're going to have problems at home with your children, right? Spending not enough time, spending too much time with your family and not enough time at work, you ain't going to have money to take care of your family, which ultimately going to be a problem at home, right? So spending too much time with your family, putting your family over the Lord and vice versa, right? You got some brothers that are coming to the truth and I'm just going to read all day and not teach my family, not do nothing else. Well, no, Lord, right? That's not what the Lord, right, told you to do. He told you that a false balance is abomination unto him, right? So we got to have a balance and even things out. The Lord is not all good, right? That's just like what you was bringing out in Job. Well, you didn't bring this out, but it said like, you think you're just gonna receive good of the Lord and not receive no evil at all, right? How else is your spirit gonna get tried? So the Lord is all about balancing, right?
Right.
And that's what we have to do coming into this thing. But first, ultimately, we want to start with the Lord, right? Let's get that in Matthew chapter 6.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 25.
Uh-huh.
Therefore I say unto you,
right?
Take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body.
Is this saying, Salakia, is this saying that don't think about what you're going to feed your family? Is this saying have no regard whatsoever what y'all going to eat? Don't go to work and none of that thing? No, Allah is not saying, right? And it's going to all make sense in the end. Read.
What ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body Slakia, and the body than raiment? Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? Which of you by
Right.
talking
So it's saying everything on the planet, Salakia, everything on the planet is taken care of. All the birds are taken care of. The ants are taken care of. Right? The fish in the water, they taken care of. Everything on the planet Earth is taken care of. They don't worry about what they're gonna eat. They don't worry about what clothes they're gonna wear. They don't worry about water too much. Right? And the Lord takes care of those things. Right? So how much more is he gonna take care of you? Right? Read.
Which of you by taking thought I can't slack you. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these.
Hey, Salakia. Salakia. So even King Solomon wasn't as beautiful as the lilies. And we know Solomon had gold galore. Right? Had the finest linen. Right? He had so much gold, he even put it in his teeth, jewels in his teeth. He had gold all over his kingdom, right?
Gold all in my wrist.
Right, gold, everything. Right? He say, but we out here stressing about certain things, right? Worried about certain things. But the Lord ultimately is going to take care of you. But let's jump down to verse 33. Let's jump down to verse 33, right? Yeah.
But seek ye first.
Seek ye first what?
The kingdom of God.
Right?
And his righteousness. And all these things shall be added unto you.
Right. So this is why I say we got to find our balance in the Most High. Right? Let him be the standard. Right? You start with him and everything else will fall in line. You get what I'm saying? Say, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. Because at the end of the day, let's get Proverbs 1. Let's get Proverbs 1 real quick. Right? He gonna give you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding. Let me see if that's what I want. Proverbs 1. I believe I want to start at verse number 1.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 1.
The
Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction.
Right? No, keep going.
To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity.
Right?
To give, verse 4, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion.
Right. So ultimately, right, the wisdom, knowledge, and the understanding come from the Most High. Right? So what we got to do is seek the Lord first, and he's going to add unto us these things, right? He say, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul, make it wise and simple, right? Ultimately, like we said, like I was saying in the beginning, we seek first the kingdom of heaven, right? We seek first as what was well pleasing to the Most High. Everything else will fall in line, right? Our ribs will fall in line. Our children will fall in line. Because ultimately, right, the things that we learn, if we seek this book, is going to teach us how to what? Really take care of our family.
Precept.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, King.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth.
Right.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein.
Right.
For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So even Joshua telling you the same thing that the brother bringing out.
That's right.
we all have to follow the words that the Most High has stated, and He's given us in this book, right? Well, not this one in particular, but in these books, right? You can't see it, Apocrypha, Bible. These 80 books that we have, these are these are the books that were written for us to have good success, right? And this is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Most High has also given unto us as well. So these things should be cherished and valued, right? I'm gonna get one more. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 1, verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. So day and night, we are supposed to be meditating on the laws of the Most High, whether that be through teaching your children, moving in your day to day, examining all things as you walk through your day, always keeping the thoughts of the Lord on your mind, right? Reading on, and it says, and he shall be planted, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. We know Sirach, and you know what? I shouldn't even get into that, but we always get into that precept, Sirach 15:3. We know what that water is. The loyal viewers should know what that water is, right? I'm not gonna say it because I always want you guys to be able to tell me, right? But he shall be planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. So this is why this is important that we stay girded up in the laws of the Most High. Now you.
Khan, all praise to the Most High.
Okay.
Right? So ultimately, right, if we put in the Lord first, right, everything will, he would teach us how to take care of our family. But if we put the Lord last, ultimately everything we do is gonna fail. Right? We put things before the Lord, everything's gonna fail. Your marriage is gonna have problems. Well, you're gonna have problems no matter what. But because you're going through fiery trials, is what I'm saying. But it's gonna be because you're the Most High is trying you versus chastising you. You got to know the difference between being chastised and being tried. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead, King.
Just to add to that point, it's how you deal with it once it happens to you.
That's right.
That's the important thing. It's how you deal with it.
That's right. So obviously we understand that you got to work, right? We got a gang of precepts on knowing that you got to work and take care of your family. Let's get a few. Genesis 3:19. Let's go get Proverbs 13:22 and 1 Timothy 5:8. Right? The brothers is not saying don't take care of your family. So these are things that we're gonna have to bring out. Because ultimately, like I said, we're gonna bring out balance. We're gonna bring out one side of the spectrum, then we're gonna bring out the other side. Right? Let's get what y'all got. Let's get the Genesis 3:19 first.
You got it up? No?
No, I was going with the second. What was the second one?
Okay.
Proverbs.
Now we had Genesis 3:19, Proverbs 13:22, and 1 Timothy 5:8.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 3, and verse 19. I'll get that real quick.
All right.
Genesis 3:19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
Right. So we understand that we got to work. Right. It's this curse that we gonna work from the time that we able to work until the time that we die. We have to work. Everything we gonna give is gonna get out the sweat of our brow. Right. We understand that. Right. Let's get the next precept.
That's Proverbs 19, correct?
13:22.
Right. 13:22. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 22. And it reads, a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children.
Right.
And the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
That's right. Read that one more time.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children. and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
That's right. So we understand that working is something that we have to do. Working is something that we have to do because we want to leave an inheritance to our children, but we want to have more than just monetizing things. Like we don't want to just have goods, right? We want to leave our children with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? So a good man gonna leave an inheritance to his children's children, right? So we understand working is important. Let's get that last. Let's get that. I called it. What was that? First Timothy.
First Timothy.
Right.
I think that's what you call it, right?
Con.
Call it the chapter again. First Timothy
5 and 8.
5 and 8.
Yeah, actually, we can skip that. We can skip that one. Right. Let's go. So we understand that a good man gonna leave inheritance to his children. So we work so we can leave things for our family, but ultimately the work of the Lord comes first, right? Because the Lord is the reason that we can leave things for our children. The Lord is the reason. Following the law, statutes, and commandments, and doing what the Lord say is the reason we have things to pass down to our children. If we don't, what it say, wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just, right? People gonna take that. Right, you're gonna work your whole life, and people gonna ultimately you ain't gonna teach your kids how to take care of it, right? So as soon as they get their hands on it, what they gonna do? They're gonna lose it because they don't have the wisdom and knowledge and the understanding to be able to know how to keep these things and to grow these things, right? And ultimately, if you putting things before the Lord, you're making those things your God, right? If you putting riches above the Lord, the riches is going to be your God, right? And let's get that in Proverbs 11:4. Proverbs 11:4. My Bible falling apart.
Proverbs 11:4.
You said what, Benjamin?
You said Proverbs 11:4?
Yes.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 4.
Right.
Riches profit not in the day of wrath.
Right.
But righteousness delivereth from death.
But what?
But righteousness delivereth from death.
But your righteousness is what's going to deliver you from the death. Right? Your money, at the end of the day, the things that you work for carnally in the world is not going to profit you. Right? So doing the work should be the most important thing to you, right? Let's get Matthew chapter 19 and verse 21. Book of Matthew chapter 19 and verse number 21.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 21.
Right.
Yahushua said unto him,
right,
if thou wilt be perfect,
right,
go and sell all, go and sell that thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me.
Right. Keep reading. I'll wait to explain. Keep reading.
Verse 22, but when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God.
Right. So a lot of times, right, our people tend to put the money above serving the Lord. Well, I got this good paying job. I can't come out and do the work on the Sabbath. Because if I don't work on the Sabbath, I'm gonna lose this good paying job and I won't have all these abundance of things. But Christ told this man right here, man, if you want to get the kingdom of heaven, sell everything you got and come follow me.
That's right.
Right? Because at the end of the day, what we got to do is seek first the kingdom of heaven. Right? But the man was like, nah, I can't do that. Right? And ultimately, what did he do? He put that money above the Lord. He put those riches above doing the work of the Lord. Right? So he don't have that balance. Right? He was willing to not get into the kingdom of heaven to keep the money. But we just read the richest profit you not in the day of wrath. Right? Let's get Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. Right? So ultimately, what he's doing is laying up his treasures here in the earth. Right? He putting his money above doing the work.
Salakia.
What's up?
Didn't he say that he was keeping all the laws though, right?
He said he was keeping all the laws.
Huh. But yet he couldn't let that money go.
You couldn't let that money go.
Wow.
Yeah. Couldn't let that money go, man. That was a good point. Right? Because ultimately his money is his God.
That's right. It's Christ, Salaki, because Christ said at the end of that, he said to come and follow what? Come and follow me. That was the other part.
Right.
He couldn't do that. He had no faith in
I've been that person. Right. And I've been that person coming into this truth, right? I'm personalized this. I've been that person coming into this truth where I'm making so much, I'm working so much. I'm talking about 12, 16-hour days, right? And I work for myself. I'm working 12, 16-hour days, right? Neglecting my family at home, right? Neglecting doing the work, right? I'm not doing my videos, like I'm not studying the way I'm supposed to be studying, right? And ultimately, I was putting my work life above my family, above the Most High, right? To where like, I'm coming to the crib, I'm reading it, I'm coming to the crib and studying. I'm working 12 to 16-hour days where I ain't got no time for my family, but so I just go from work to studying. So, but now my family is being neglected. You get what I'm saying? That's a false balance to the Lord, right?
God.
And ultimately, you thinking that you're doing a good thing because you can provide things monetary wise. You can pay for certain things, right? You can go on certain trips. You can go outside and take everybody out to eat. But everybody else is lacking spiritually because you don't have a balance in your work, family life. You ain't putting the Lord above everything else. Right?
Right.
Let's get that what I call Matthew 6 and 19.
Okay. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal.
Right. So it say, lay not up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt. Right? Or the money just go by so fast. Like you get the money in and you spend it all out.
Yep.
Right? Because ultimately, you don't have, the Most High is not giving you the wisdom to store up your money. Right? You getting it, you try to make up for spending time at home with going outside and just spending money and buying things. Ultimately, you're going through your money, but when all actuality, people just want to spend time with you. You get what I'm saying? So let's read. Did we read verse 20? Did we read verse 20? No, read verse 20.
Verse 20.
Right.
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Right. So ultimately, if you lay your treasures up in heaven, right, you seek the Lord first. You seek the face of the Lord, which is keeping the law, statutes, commandments, having a faith in Christ, right? And you spend the time in your studies, right, and spending time with your family and going to work in a balanced manner, right? Your house is going to be in order. Your life is going to be in order, right? Because you're going to be seeking the kingdom of heaven versus seeking heaven on this earth. You get what I'm saying? You seeking like we come into like we grew up not having anything, right? Our people grew up not having nothing. You see what I'm saying? So just going to make money, ultimately, you feel like, all right, well, I got to make a better life for my family here on this earth. But this is not our rest, right? Yeah, the Most High want us to have good things. He made the earth for our sake, right? Yeah, he did. But ultimately, we have to do what? We have to put him first, right? Let's get Proverbs 8 and verse number 18. Y'all got anything? Y'all can jump in.
You rocking solid right now, I don't. There's the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 18, and it reads, "Riches and honor are with me, yea, durable riches and righteousness."
So riches and honor are with what?
Riches and honor are with me, yea.
Right. Oh. My bad. Keep going, Salaki. I'll cut you off. My bad.
Yeah. Yea, durable riches and righteousness.
Right. So it's saying riches and honors with the Most High. Right. Durable honors, durable riches and righteousness. Right. Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Right. Hold on. You was reading Proverbs 18?
8 and 18.
Salaki, 8 and 18. Salaki. I'm at the wrong piece of myself. Salaki. Read that one more time, Bob Shah.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 18.
Uh-huh.
Riches and honor are with me, yea, durable riches and righteousness.
Durable riches and what? Righteousness.
Okay.
Right? So the riches and honors with the Most High is nothing for the Most High to give you money if you're doing what he's supposed to do. Right? What Christ told us, right? Don't worry about what you're going to eat here. Don't worry about your clothes. Don't worry about where you're going to stay at. Right? Seek the kingdom of the Most High. Right? Let the Lord be your base. Right? And build on top of that. Right? Because it say, read verse 19. Read verse 19.
Verse 19. My fruit is better than gold.
Read that again.
My fruit is better than gold.
Right? And ultimately this is going into wisdom, right? He say the wisdom is better than what? Gold.
Wow.
Right? Keep reading.
Yea, than fine gold, and my revenue than much silver.
Right? So the riches of wisdom, right, is better than any gold that we can obtain on this earth. Right? So wouldn't you want to spend more time or spend the just due amount of time with your wisdom, with these words, with the studying, giving the Lord his time?
Yeah.
Right? Because it said riches are with him. Like you seek the kingdom of heaven, right? You go home, you study, you spend time, you teach your family the way you're supposed to teach your family, right? Everybody got trust, you know what I'm saying? And the order is right. And you having wisdom and studying or whatnot, the Lord can give you a bright idea. Right? And everybody gonna fall in line with that bright idea because everything else is in order. Because you're teaching your family to honor the Most High. So your rib knows that she got to honor you. Right? Your children are going to do everything that they need to do because you're spending time teaching them the way you're supposed to be teaching them. Right? Your ribs are ultimately going to be there to help you because you're guiding them spiritually. Y'all brothers following what I'm saying? Am I making sense here?
All praise.
Stop me when I stop making sense. Right? I'll pray to the Most High. Right?
Trust me, I'll be. You see me look at you.
I'll pray to the Most High, man. But like I said, ultimately, like these are mistakes that I made coming in, and a lot of brothers make coming into this thing, right? And it's gonna be a few other things, but
it's a lot.
Right now, go ahead.
Let me add to your points. Right.
Go ahead.
So coming into this truth, you know, we always have that zeal, you know, that excitement of learning who you truly are and everything, right?
That's
So
right.
a lot of the mistakes brothers make coming in is like going foot on the gas, right? Because your rib don't know nothing about it. You got a teacher, but as you coming in there. Oh,
Hey,
we see
hold on. We gonna get into that.
oh,
We
okay,
gonna get
okay.
into that. We gonna get into that. That brother, that
I
brother
will put
ready
it
to
in
jump
part.
right
I'll
there.
put it in part.
God. We gonna get into that.
I
We gonna
got,
get
yeah,
into that.
I
All
got
praise
you.
to the Most High, man.
I'll praise to the Most High.
Right. So right now we talking about right finding the work balance, if that makes sense to people. Finding the work balance.
Okay.
Right. Ultimately, put the work of the Lord over your actual work your job, because this is
Okay.
ultimately your job. Doing the work of the Lord is ultimately your real job.
That's right.
That's why I said Matthew 6:33, seek ye first what? The kingdom.
Okay.
Right? That's ultimately our real job. Our whole duty is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments.
Salakia. Now I have another point, right? Based off what you just said.
Right?
You know, your job be giving you ultimatums.
That's right.
I'm gonna need you to work on Friday night, bro.
Right.
Right? They ain't asking you to work. I need you to work.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what you gonna do? Right? When you get put in that position. Nah, I can't do that because I have you know, that's my Sabbath. Like that's not what I asked you. Are you going to work or are you not? Because if you can't work these nights, then we don't need you here. Right? You will get put away for just not being able to work one night. And those Friday nights, Saturday mornings is when they want you the most.
That's right.
Right? Especially in the logistic industry. If
That's a
you
fact.
are working in the restaurant industry,
That's a fact.
Friday Saturdays is a must. You can't say no to Friday nights. You can't say no to Saturday afternoons,
That's
right?
right.
Afternoons before sunset. You can't say no to those, right? In a sense, like they'll give you that gesture, like yo, you gotta work these days, or you ain't getting paid. What you can do in that situation. So this is why you have to be able to speak wisely amongst these Salakia, speak wisely amongst these nations. Because
Right.
right here is your faith. These words is what you trust in. These words are what you believe. So it's gonna be difficult, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was put in positions where I had to work on the Sabbath against my will, you know what I mean? And I fought my fight, you know what I mean? Every turn. I'm like trying to put in a letter, try to let them know that hey, this is my fate. I can't do these days, and like you know, by the grace of the Most High, I was able to get off probably most of them days. You know what I mean? But it's still at a balance. You know, Esau still want to test you, so I still had to find a balance. Whereas if I could avoid it, I avoided it. You know what I mean? Don't fall into that trap of oh, I have to do this because they asked me to. You understand? Do not willfully do something because we in captivity. Don't willfully do something that you don't technically need to do. You know what I'm saying? By you.
That's right. Right. And that's why I say wisdom is say riches and honor are with me. Right. Yea, durable riches and righteousness. Right. So if you putting wisdom first, you putting the work of the Lord first, the riches are going to be durable riches. Nothing can be taken away from that. Right. What's for you is going to be for you. The Most High won't allow nothing or nobody to take that thing away. But those
Right.
are durable riches, right? It say, verse 19, my fruit is better than fine gold. It's like it's better than gold, yea, fine gold. My
Mm-hmm.
revenue better than choice silver. I lead in the way of righteousness in the midst of the path of judgment, that I may cause those that what love me to inherit substance. I will fill their treasures. Right? So ultimately, right, we put in the Lord, the work of the Lord first, everything else gonna be added to us. And these are things that you don't even think about coming in, I guess. I didn't think about these things until I damn near lost everything. Right? A brother
And
could go
speak.
from making,
Oh,
say
yeah.
what?
So, Slack,
A brother could go from making 4,000 a week, humping, right? To you not putting the Lord first. All right, well, I'm gonna take all that stuff away.
Right.
Now you just sitting here, right? You sitting here like, dang, now what? You know you had it before. The Most High can do it for you again, but now you see the error in your ways, and what? You fix those things, right? You put the work of the Lord first. You put that wisdom before everything else, right? Let's jump to Psalms 37, right? Psalms 37 and verse number 25, right? Let's get the book of Psalms chapter 37 and verse number 25. Because ultimately what I want you to do, what I want you to learn to do is put the work of the Lord first, right? And have that faith in the Most High.
The book of Psalms chapter 37 and verse 25.
I
have been young and now am old.
So this is David saying, I've been young and I've been old. I've been young, right? Now I'm old. Salaki, I've been young, now I'm an old man, right? Read.
Come. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken,
nor have I not seen the righteous forsaken. The point of that is righteous. Right? What's the righteousness of the Lord? Let's get that in the chat. What is the righteousness of the Lord? What makes a person righteous? Right? You keep reading why they drop that precept.
Verse 25. I have been young and now I'm old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
Right. So this is David saying, like, man, I've never seen the righteous begging bread. They gonna have the things that's due for them. They gonna have the clothes when they need the clothes. Right? They gonna have the food when it's time to eat. Ultimately, they're gonna have this. Let me get a precept, y'all. I know y'all dropping, y'all saying keeping the law. Y'all right, but let me get a precept. All praise to the Most High. Right? Ultimately, everything that you need, you're gonna have it if you what? Seek first the kingdom of the Most High. Right? Right. Let's get that Sirach 2 and 10, Baba Kashah. Then we're gonna jump to another subject.
I got a precept before we leave this place too. That point.
Sirach 2 and 10. Then get your precept.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 10, and it reads: Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in Yahweh and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
Hey, that's a fact though.
That's a cool verse right there.
You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody was ever forsaken that trusted in the Most High, that did what he was supposed to do, and the Most High just kind of left you out. You just got to figure it out on your own. You did what I told you to do, but yeah, everything else you'll be all right. You figure, no, that's not how the Lord works. The Lord ain't getting down like that. This is a give-take thing with the Most High, right? No, don't write that precept. That's my precept. Don't highlight that. That's mine.
You swipe the precept real quick.
I'm just playing, man. But all praise to the Most High, because it's like nobody that's ever put their trust in the Most High was forsaken, right? If you go back to the curses and the blessings back in Deuteronomy 28, right? That we always go to these curses and these blessings, right? We go through these probably once a week if you out of camp. There's no way you're not going through the curses, right? There's no way it's not happening, right? It's telling you right there, if you do what I tell you to do, all this is gonna happen for you. All this stuff, I'm gonna do these things for you, right? But if you don't, ultimately, everything, all these other things are gonna happen to you.
That's right.
Right? So it's saying, right? The brother, let's get that in Deuteronomy 6 and 25, right?
I think it's on the screen. You could put it back on the screen. I think Kazakia posted it.
Con, all praise to the Most High. Did it come up?
I mean, I can read it from here from the side chat.
Yeah, Con, let's read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 25.
All right.
All right. Salakia. It just moved. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our power.
Hey, Shalom, Adawan.
Shalom, shalom, Adawan. Yabashim Shabbat.
Yes, on mute. You're on mute, Captain. Shalom.
Salakia, can y'all hear me?
Con.
Shalom, Yashar. I'll mute myself for a second because I can't hear any of you. I'm trying to see what's wrong with me.
Okay, Con, why I don't want to get that together, man. Let's yeah, so the righteousness, the righteousness is what? What it say? And it shall be our righteousness if we what? Do all these commandments before the Lord our God. Because he had commanded us, right? So David said he never seen a righteous for begging bread. He never seen a righteous forsaken. Right? So if you keep all the law, statutes, commandments, and you take care of your family, you're gonna have everything that you need, ultimately.
Right.
Right? You're not gonna be wanting for anything. Right? But if you put the Lord after your work, it don't matter how much money you make, you're gonna be putting it in a bag with holes in it at the end of the day. Right? And then you still gonna have all the problems that you had before the money. And you're gonna realize that the money doesn't help anything. But the righteousness and having that just balance and seeking the Lord's face first. You got something out of one? You're on mute if you're trying to say something.
I'm just hearing you now, Salakia. I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell you one minute.
I got a precept though.
Go ahead, King.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 62, verse 10. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not thy heart upon them.
Right? Hey, right. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You got it.
So, you get in the position where now you making even more money. Now you feeling yourself. Don't focus on them riches, because the Most High, he blessed you with those riches. You understand? That's vanity unto him. If you boast in your riches, because just how the Most High giveth, he can take away. Right? I'm gonna get one more precept. Book of Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 8, where it reads, "Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me." So you have to stay humble. So I'm showing you right here, like, yo, I don't want to be poor, but I don't need to be rich. Just give me what's convenient for me.
Hey, that's right. That's right. So obviously we saying, again, this balance thing, right? So spending time with your family is important, right? Teaching your family is important. That's a part of the work of the Lord. Going to work is a part of the work of the Lord. But like I said in the beginning, let the Lord be your base, right? You build on top of him, right? The law, statutes, commandments is what you want to build on. The wisdom of the Lord is what we want to build on, right? We don't want to put him second. They want to put him first, right? So spending time with our family is very important, right? Activity nights, the things that we do to bond with one another. But we also want to be mindful that we teaching them of the Lord, right? When we spending this time with our family, right? We want to spend time with our family, but when we spending time with our family, you want to quiz your kids on precepts, right? You want to pick their brain, seeing what they learn. You want to talk to your ribs or your family to see how they doing mentally and spiritually. You get what I'm saying? Let's get this let's get Proverbs 27 and verse 23. All right, let's get Proverbs chapter 27 and verse number 23. All right, we don't want to neglect our family for work and let money.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 23. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever. And
what he say, Salaki, is more on that.
God. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation?
Hey, that's right, man. They say, be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks. Right? Know what's going on with your family.
That's right.
If you always at work, right? You don't know what's going on with your wife at home.
God.
You don't know what's going on with your children. Right? You work so much. And you just don't know what's happening. You just in the dark about everything. Right?
Yeah.
Now your wife got spirits on her, but you can't see it because when you don't spend enough time with her to figure it out.
God.
Right? Now your children got a spirit, or you thinking, because everybody know your children are different than what I've learned this. Your children are different with you than they are with their mama.
Mm-hmm. God.
Right? Well, I've learned this the hard way. Right? So I'm thinking, you work so much that you think your children are perfect because with you, they know how to act. They doing certain things, right? But then you later on find out that it's not all peachy as you thought it was.
God.
Right? Because you're not looking, right? You're not looking at the state of your flock. You're not paying attention. You're not spending that quality time with them that you need to teach them, to understand what's going on with their life, the stresses that they're going through with school. Right? A lot of times we get caught up in our own struggles so much that we forget about the struggle of everybody else that's around us, when ultimately that is our struggle. Right? Anybody want to say something?
You got it.
Salakia, to your point earlier, I was talking about money. Did y'all bring Mark 8 and 36? Did y'all read that?
Mark 8 and 36.
Mark 8, 36.
It's the book of Mark, chapter 8, and verse number 36, and it reads, "For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the world and lose his own soul?"
So a lot of people feel they should go out in the streets and make all of this money, but they don't realize it's more to life than just money. Especially how we living right now. We living in a time where our money is fiat and it's going to be reduced to nothing sooner than later. We see this happening across the world. So what is it going to gain you to obtain all of these riches, and they're not forever? You need to obtain your soul. You need to cherish that and the souls of your loved ones, if that's what you really cherish. You can give your kids all the money in the world. You can buy them the biggest house, get your wife a nice car, and all of these things. But if you're not giving your family the actual riches, the law, statutes, and commandments, things that can help them live and not just survive in this world, then it was all for naught.
That's right. Right. Khan out of one. And like we said earlier, the riches of wisdom are better than gold.
Khan.
Right? Or choice silver. Right? Because ultimately, them riches are what they're going to take to be able to really live in this world, to be able to maneuver. Right? $1,000 won't help them learn how to get out of that fight at school. Right? That $1,000 in a cash app or a bank account, right, won't ultimately teach them that when you come across the police, you got to agree with your adversaries quickly. Right? That's not going to do anything for them. Right? So it's a verse. Let's get that back in Proverbs 27 and read verse 24 again for me, not. Because that go right with what the other one just read.
Want me to read 23 again and then go to 24?
Con, you can read. You can do that.
Con, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 23.
Uh-huh.
Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation?
Riches are not forever. Money is not always going to be at your fingertips like that. Right? But this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you can pass that thing down forever and ever and ever. And the money can come back and get, like, ultimately it's going to help you get that money back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But ultimately what we want to do is put our family and put spending time with our family over just being of the working man. We taught to work. That's one thing that they teach the black man for the most part. You gonna work, right? A lot of us, if we did have our father in the house, he worked a lot, right? And they teach you to what? To work. But we don't too much learn how to have that compassion with our family. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anybody want to add something before we move on? Actually, we're not moving on from that from this subject. Just moving on from that precept.
I got a precept, I think. Yeah, kind of. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that had joy of his children,
Right.
and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. He's like right here in this point, right? You're talking about, being able to enjoy your family, right? Enjoy playing with your kids. Enjoy them knowing that, hey, this is my dad. He loves me. He's showing it. He's directing my paths. He's leading me right. Sirach is showing that wisdom and saying that these are the things that makes the heart happy. You understand? So we as fathers, right? Mothers as well, because that we got some sisters out there working hard as well.
That's right.
So, but your children need you. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
For me, I think of my kids every day. You know what I mean? Not putting everything out there, but I'm going through some situations, whatever, where I have that. But every day I think about my kids. You understand? And when I'm there in my presence, I'm happy. I'm joyous because when I look at them, I see me.
That's right.
So how could I look at me and hate me? You know what I mean?
God.
So,
so building up the spirits of your family is really important. Let's get Proverbs chapter 22 and verse number 6. Deuteronomy 6, start at verse 6. And let me get Sirach 30, start at verse number 3.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
Right.
And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So training up your child in the way they should go, the man child and the woman child. Train them up in the way they should go, so when they get older, they shall not depart from it. Because what we just read in Lazarus, riches don't profit you not in the dead realm. Riches don't last forever.
Right.
Right? But the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is what's going to ultimately be what helps you make it through. Right? So it say what? Train up a child in the way you should go, so when you get older, you shall not depart from it. Right? So what are we training our child up to do? Because ultimately, your child's going to learn something from you.
Yep.
They're either going to learn how to be a deadbeat from you, right? They're going to learn how to work. They're going to either learn how to have patience from you, or they're going to learn how to be impatient from you, right? They're going to learn how to They're gonna learn everything from. They're gonna learn something from you. Your habits, they're gonna pick up on those habits, right?
That's a fact.
Everything that you do, you're gonna teach them some kind of way, right? So why not teach them the right way? Why not teach them in the law, statutes, commandments? Why not teach them in the wisdom of the Lord, right? But if you're always gone and not spending time with your family, there's no way you could possibly do that, right? And ultimately, this is part of the work. This is the work. Teaching your family is the work of the Lord, right? Let's get that in Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse number 6. And read down to verse number 7. And then we're going to read Sirach 3 down to 6. Y'all got that? Which one y'all got that?
Call that out again.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, and verse number 7.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 6 and 6, Salakia.
Okay. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 6, and it reads, "And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart."
So these words are what the Most High telling you right now, right? What Moses told the Lord to tell us. I mean, the Lord told Moses to tell us, right? These words shall be in thy heart. And he start off with this. Read verse 7.
Verse 7, "And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children."
Teach them diligently to thy children.
"And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house."
Right? So when you spending time with your family at home, talk about these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Read.
Right.
"And when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest
down, when y'all outside having activities, right? Throw a precept, throw a question out there, right, for your family, right? Make sure they sharp on their toes, and ultimately they keep you sharp.
God.
Right? To teach is to twice learn. Right?
I like that.
To teach twice learn. Right? So teach them diligently, right? When in the house, and when thou goeth out and walketh by the way, what?
And when they liest down. Sorry, Salaki, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
So ultimately, right? So what it's saying is that you want to teach these laws, statutes, and commandments to your children all day. If you're spending 2/3 of your day at work, you don't have time to do this.
Right.
You don't have a just balance. You don't have the balance to do this. Right? You have enough time. If you spending 2/3 of your day at work, you coming home, you're gonna eat, you may read a little bit, kids might jump all over you for a little while, then you got to go back to sleep so you can go back to work and do it again. But where's the balance in that? There is no balance in that. You see what I'm saying?
That's a fire one right there. I'm gonna take that. That right there get bite. That get bite. I'm sorry.
God, right?
Man,
God, all praise to the Most High.
Twice learn.
That's right.
There's actually a reason for that imbalance and the way that we live right now. I hear what you're saying, that we don't have that balance when we at work at all the time, but that was a tactic from your enemy to do that from you, because at one point your family structure is the lifeline of the nation as a whole. When your family structure is weak, you go out and you perform as a nation weak. So they destroyed our family structure first. Somebody give me Proverbs 17:16. When you look at Planned Parenting and all of the things that they would give to our women to get the man out of the house, there was a reason for that, to destabilize you, so you wouldn't have Rosewood, you wouldn't have all these cities, because the city started in your neighborhood, which started in your house. We learned to deal with our family in a loving nature, and then we went out and dealt with our neighbor in another loving nature, and we went out and dealt with our nation as a whole in a loving nature. So the white man looked at that and said, I got to destroy that from the beginning. Let me get to the house. Somebody read that.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, in verse 6. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are the fathers.
All right. So the glory of a child, read it again slowly.
Con. Children's children are the crown of old men.
So when you have kids, like you look down and you see that you have a treasure. This is your crown. I look at my son, and I'm very happy. That's my crown. That's when we had Passover, and Yawasop's son was there. You could see it in his face how happy he was. When we were all in the pavilion, y'all know what happened. You could see how happy he was. And the same thing goes for a child. When you raise up in a great family, you look at your parents and you revere them, right? Mm-hmm. So when we are raised in homes that do not have this, we have a dynamic of hating each other, not trusting each other, not loving each other, not learning from one another. So you spoil, which is a word that we commonly use in a wrong way. We spoil our children. Our homes become spoiled. Our wives become spoiled. Our lives become spoiled. Our neighborhoods become spoiled. Now our nation is spoiled.
Right.
Because we don't reverence each other. We don't love one another. You can't love your brother. You don't even love your son. You're not loving a sister down the street. You don't love your wife. Like, we're not loving each other because we didn't start in the home with love. You know what I'm saying? I yield it.
Hey, fine. All praise to the Most High, and he right. I don't want his right. Because Salakia, we learn that from our enemies. That's something that we get from our enemies ultimately, right? Being overworked so that we don't have time to spend with our time and family. That's why it's important for us to not love the riches of this world, right? That's why that's one of the reasons why I'm bringing it out. Because if you're spending too much time trying to make money, your value is that money. You said where your riches are is where your heart is, right? That's why it told us to store our riches up in the kingdom of heaven, right? You get what I'm saying? So teaching our children these laws, statutes, and commandments is what's ultimately going to bring us out of this state, right? But we have to see the error in our ways. We have to see where we get this work 24 hours a day spirit from and come out of that thing. That's why it told us to come out of her, my people, that we receive not of her pledge.
That's right.
Right, that's Revelation 18 and verse number 4. Right? And come back to the law, statutes, commandments, and have a balanced lifestyle. So where you work enough to take care of your family. You work enough to do the work of the Lord. You do, but ultimately, doing the work of the Lord is everything I just said. Is a part of everything I just said. Doing the work of the Lord is more than just us going out on the highways and hedges, teaching and flock. Right? Oh, we teaching, we go out there to teach people to come back to their heritage, and we have to make sure that we living out our heritage every day, which is teaching our children, spending quality time with your wives. Right? Let me pick this up at I want to Sirach 30. Sirach 30 and verse number 3.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him.
Right. So when you teach your son, like I said, when you teach your son, you're gonna grieve the enemy if you teach your son the right thing. But like I said before, they're gonna learn something from you, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Right? They're gonna learn something from you. You're gonna teach them something. Right? But it say right here, he that teaches his son grieveth his enemy. Right? And before his friends, he shall rejoice in him. This is the precept I brought out when Adam just said when my son made soldier. Right? That's grieving to the enemy for us to spend time with our children. That's grieving for us, for our enemy to know that, man, that's one less child is going to be in the system. And ultimately, he could have an influence on his friends.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and if he goes out and do the things that he's supposed to do, but ultimately, I have to teach him. I have to be there to teach him.
God.
Right? Read verse 4.
Verse 4. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead. For he hath left one behind him that is like himself.
Right? And it's the same thing you go for the sisters too. You can just switch it to your daughter, because it say, what's that, Ezekiel 16:44? Is the mother is, so is the daughter. Right? So if you teach your daughter righteousness, she's gonna be righteous, Lord willing.
That's right.
Right? You teach your son righteousness, he's gonna grow up living righteously. And they're ultimately gonna have an influence over everybody that's around them, and it's gonna spread. Just like this, the wickedness spread, the will of the Lord, this wisdom and knowledge and understanding is gonna spread. Right? But having that balance, I gotta keep going back to that, but having that balance is what's gonna help us get to this place. Right? So ultimately, like when you die, right? When you pass away, it's gonna be like you wasn't dead, because your child is gonna keep living out the same things that you lived out on this earth. And that goes both ways. Like with the movie, they clone Tyrone, right? In that movie, they clone Tyrone. They just keep making they keep making that same person over and over again. That's my prayer alarm. But they keep making the same person over and over again, right? To where that person, that same behavior of a gangbanger, a drug dealer, or a pimp, or a whore is what we ultimately produce in our communities, right? But when we dare to teach our sons and our daughters in righteousness, right, we're cloning them also, right?
Right.
We're making righteous clones, so to speak.
That's right.
Con. That's Proverbs 22:6.
Con. All praise to the Most High, right? So let's get this in.
Can we finish that a little bit on that in that Ecclesiasticus?
Con, go ahead.
I'm gonna start at verse 5. And it reads, while he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends.
Hey, that's
right. An example of the cloning right there. That's what you leave.
That's right. That's the real kind of clone, right?
Yeah, that's the real clone right there.
Right? When you pass away, you're gonna die happily, knowing that you're passing the torch to somebody that's gonna progress the family instead of digress the family. Because you taught him everything you could teach him while you was here. You use your time wisely. So ultimately, we want to use our time wisely.
That's right.
We don't want to teach our son to just work, and just provide monetary wise.
That's also in First Kings, an example in First Kings
2:2.
Okay.
That's right. So yeah, let's get this. Let's get Luke 2:49. Right, Luke chapter 2 and verse number 49.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 2 and verse 49.
And verse 48.
Verse 48. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How was it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business?
Right.
And
So
they
go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 50. And they understood not the saying which he spake unto them.
Right. So yeah, spending time with your family is also important. Right. But doing the work of going out and doing the work of the Lord, right, is important. Us going out to the highways and hedges is really important. Us teaching people around us is really important.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to. Yeah, I went through the monetary wise of, yeah, you got to work, right? But you don't want to put your work. You don't want to let money be your god, right? You want to spend time with your family, but ultimately you don't want your family to be your god, to the point you're not going out to do your duty. Right? You say, what I must be about my father's business. His father's business is what? Going out to the highways and hedges, teaching Israel that they got to come out of this wicked world. This is us being about our father's business on Sabbath morning brew. Coming and tell a brother, like, look, I don't make these same mistakes that this brother made. Don't make the same mistakes that I made. Go to work, spend time with your family, do the work of the Lord, repeat. Or do the work of the Lord, go to work, go do the work of the Lord, teach your family, go to work, repeat. Now we say it like that. You get what I'm saying? But ultimately, everything in our lives should be centered around the Most High's work. And he's going to provide that increase to us, right? Let's get Luke 8 and 21. Let's get Matthew chapter 10 and verse 37.
So Matthew 10 and
37 through 39.
This is the book of
Hey, Benjamin, you still there?
I think he stepped out for a second.
Okay, drop him down until he come back, Baba Kashah.
This is the book of Luke chapter 8 and verse, one more time, Salakia.
21.
In verse 21. And he answered and said unto them, my mother and my brethren are these which hear the word of God.
Start at verse 19, Salakia.
This is the book of Luke chapter 8 and verse 19. Then came to him his mother and his brethren, and could not come at him for the press. And it was told him by certain men which said, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to see thee. And he answered and said unto them, my mother and my brethren are these which hear the word of God and do it.
That's right. So ultimately, too, right? Your mother and your brother, your real brothers in your family are people that's doing the work with you also. I'm not saying go neglect your family if they're not doing the work. I'm not saying that. Right? But learn to appreciate the people that you have around you and teach the people that you have around you. Right? That's keeping the law, statutes, and commandments with you. Right? Yeah. Y'all got something you want to add to that?
Not right now. You're rolling.
Khan, I'll pray.
Psalms 127:3.
Khan. Book of Psalms, chapter 127, and verse number 3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward.
Right. So your children are your reward. When we have children, if you have something that is a treasure from the Most High, you should cherish it. To add to what you were saying about doing the work of the Most High. A way to do the work of the Most High is with your family. I'm not privileged to have that honor, but a lot of you are. You have your family that's in the truth. So when you do the work, when you see Yawasop come to camp with his son, that's a beautiful thing. You know, he's teaching his son, and his son sees the work. A lot of our people in the world, like women, don't realize that your son got to be with his father. So if your father's out there doing the work, send a little boy with his father, you know, so he can learn to do the work. You got these sisters that are at home, they do the fringes. Teach your little daughter to do the fringes also. As a heritage, we should learn to love each other and do the work for the Most High with each other. If you're doing that as a family, you become unstoppable. That's the Justice League. Like that's really what our enemies are afraid of. They learn to be righteous amongst each other. That's the antithesis. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I'm trying to use a big word. Antithesis is opposite, right? That's the antithesis of what we have going on now. You know, I rap, shoot a nigga, stab a nigga, kill a nigga dead, and then my son starts saying that. You know, he goes to school with that type of behavior,
right?
And then we build this conglomerate of destruction for ourselves. But we have to do the opposite. We have to start building these treasures up in a totally different way, you know, so that we as a people can get out of this, because we ain't gonna get out of it the way we're doing it right now. You know, we're not following the law, statutes, and commandments. We're not gonna get out of this. We're not building ourselves up as a family. We're not getting out of this. You know? Are you?
Right. God, all praise. All praise to the Most High. Right. So again, I brought those precepts out, and what was that? What was that we just brought up? Luke. What was that? Luke 8? No, was that Matthew 10? What you just read?
Luke, you had Luke 8. That was the last one I think I read.
Right. So I brought that out, right? Because I don't want to just brought out a major point that's important. Some people some people don't have their family in the truth. Some people don't. Some people come in with their family in the truth and they lose their family in the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like some people that happens to people. That happens to people. Right? But we want to appreciate the people that the Most High put around us that we got to do the work with also. Right? So we don't want to neglect our family at all. We don't want to neglect our family at all. Right? So spend time with your family, but if you don't have if you don't have the honor to have your family in this truth, or if you lose your family to this truth, just appreciate the people that the Lord put around you to do the work with. Right? And this goes into my next point, dealing with offenses. Right? We want to have a just balance with dealing with offenses. But this is also a problem that I had coming into doing the work of the Lord, coming into this truth. Not having a just balance with dealing with offenses. Right? Obviously, if you're not spending enough time at home, you're going to have spirits in your house. Right? You're going to have spirits in your house. And when you come home to see that you got spirits in your house, you say, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. You're going to come home, you're going to be angry. Right? But you're not spending the time at home to deal with those things. And you're not spending if you don't spend the time if you don't spend your time studying the way you're supposed to study, you won't be well equipped to deal with those things. You following me? Right? So let's get Luke chapter 17 and verse number 1.
Luke.
Everything also, everything is pointing back to doing the work of the Lord. Right, having a just balance. If the Lord is your base, and you build on top of that, you'll be okay.
Salaki, real quick, can I want to, before we go there, just to give an example, there was a great pic sent through a chat line. I want to post it real quick.
All right.
But let me pull it up real quick, because this is a great example of what we're speaking of when it comes to teaching our children. And let me pull it up real quick. Salaki. Oh, Salakia, there it is. Okay. Oh, it's not. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. All right, here we go. Right here. I want to post this. Everybody see this? Can you see it?
Oh, Con.
No, that's mighty.
That's a mighty scene right there, right? And this is what we've been talking about. Y'all, what's up? This is what you actually was bringing out. You know what I'm saying? This is showing and being an example to our children. You know, I'm gonna go to. I know we brought the scripture out again, but I'm gonna go to another one, which is the same thing. I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 11 and 19. No, matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 18. And it reads, "Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates." So this is what we're talking about, Israel. You know what I'm saying? This is what the Most High has commanded us to do. This is how we leave a legacy. This is how we grieve the enemy. When we see examples like this, you know, Sabbath morning brew, you have your sons, your daughters, you know, excited to hear the word, excited to learn. But when I saw this pic, I said, oh, I had to ask Captain if I could post it, just to give us a visual. You know what I'm saying? But I yield on that.
Lucky, I don't mean to, like, whenever I'm not gonna say what family that is, but when you look at that family, that's exactly what our enemies are afraid of.
Exactly.
They're afraid of a man that teaches his sons, his wife, his daughter to be like that and operate like that. Those two boys are scary to most people. Most of our enemies, that's a scary sight.
God.
That's right. Like, they could be in there watching Netflix or something.
God. Or on their phones.
They could be in there on their phone, but their father got them watching.
Yeah. At that age, our kids are worldly rap videos, you know.
Wow.
They on the shooting games all day, cursing and stuff. They doing all sorts of madness, you know, trying to deal with young women in an off manner. They deal with all sorts of madness. But when you see this is something different. Like, that's a scary sight.
That's right.
I mean, it's a beautiful sight for us, but for the enemy, that's a scary sight.
It is.
But for the Most High, that's a beautiful thing, and He loved to see that right there.
That's beautiful.
God, all praise to
the Most
High. If you read 3 John 1 and 4, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. But when you see that, you know, the Most High is very pleased with that. That's what He wants. That's what he wants us. That's why we go to camp. That right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a mighty. What was that? 3 John chapter 3 John
4. That was a cold-blooded one. 3 John.
I have no.
1 and 4.
Yeah, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth.
That's mighty.
It is.
Yeah, I gotta add that one, Jack. Gotta add that one. I'll praise to the Most High. Right? So now we move into dealing with offenses. Right? And it's truth, you're gonna get offended. We're gonna have to deal with offenses when it comes to our families, at work, in the world. When you're driving down the street, you're gonna get cut off, things like that, right? But learning how to deal with these offenses and wisdom and righteousness is something that we have to do, right? Learning how to balance the approach we take when dealing with offenses is ultimately what's going to save your life and what's going to save your family, what's going to save your marriage. Like if you a brother that's always shaking the hand at your family every time they make a mistake, you're going to lose them.
God.
They're going to get to the point where now we can't tell them nothing. We can't tell you nothing because you just going to get mad. Right? And ultimately you lose the communication that you have with your family. And these are mistakes that some of us make coming into this truth. Right? We like to use surely oppression maketh the wise man mad as an excuse, but that's not a just balance to the Lord. The Lord didn't kill every time he got upset. The Most High had mercy. Right? Let's get this in Luke 17:1. All right, let's get 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse number 16.
It says 2 Timothy chapter.
Let's get that one first. 2 Timothy 3 and 16.
It's the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 16. And it reads, all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness.
Salakia. So all these scriptures are given, right? You got to search the scriptures daily, right? You got to study to show thyself approved, and you're going to have the answer to everything. This is why I said if the Lord is your balance, Salakia, if the Lord is your base and you build on top of that, you'll be all right. Right? So if you search the scriptures and you read, right, and if you don't make haste in a time of trouble, and you go search the precepts, right, it's going to let you know that all these scriptures is one, are profitable for doctrine when teaching the Bible, right, or understanding parables and dark sayings, right, for reproof, right, and correction, right, and instruction in righteousness. And righteousness is what? The law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
So the Bible is good for that. So if you read the Bible and you go by what the Lord tells us to do, right, you're gonna learn how to correct people. You're gonna learn how to teach people, right, and you're gonna learn how to have mercy on people, right. Verse number 17. That the what?
Verse 17. That the man of God may be perfect.
That may be perfect. You can't be perfect if you're one-sided. Right?
God.
Everything doesn't require a butt whipping. Right? Every offense doesn't require a cussing and spitting. Really, for the most part, none of them do. Well, I ain't gonna say none of them do, but that should probably be your last. Right? If a child spills milk on the floor, just because they spill milk on the floor, it's just on accident. That doesn't require the same type of rebuke or correction as it does if your child went and pistol whipped one of his brothers or something.
Right.
Right? We got to learn how to have that balance. Like the Lord give us different tools. We have to learn how to use them. Everything doesn't require the hammer. Some things require the sandpaper. Some things you can just smooth over with some kind words or with some. They could be stern words, right? But you don't always have to break out the belt and get the beat. You don't always have to raise your voice, right? So that the man of God may be perfect and thoroughly what? Furnished. You have everything that you need, every tool that you possibly need. If you study and show yourself approved, right? You're gonna have that. But what does it all go back to? Keeping the Most High first, finding your balance in the Lord. Search the scriptures, And he's going to show you how to deal with every situation. You get what I'm saying? Let's get Luke 17:1. Baba Kashab.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 17 and verse 1. Then said he unto the disciples, it is impossible, but that offenses will come.
Right? So people are going to offend you. It's impossible for you to live in this flesh and you don't get offended. It's going to happen. There's no way that you're not going to be offended. I'm sorry to say, it's just not going to happen. Right? But what?
But woe unto him through whom they come.
And that's destruction to whom they come. Right? If you're a person that's, and this also could go to the man too, right? To you brothers coming into this thing, right? You're gonna offend. Learning how to be a nation again. We're not gonna always get it right the first time, right? There's gonna be times where we're gonna have to go back and fix things, right? But if you're a person that's always offending people, what did the Bible say? Woe unto you, which is destruction.
That's right.
Right? Woe unto you who the offenses always come, right? But let's keep going down because it's something important coming up. Let's jump down to verse number 3.
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
Take heed to yourselves.
What did it say?
Take heed to yourselves.
So watch yourself, right? Because what?
If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him.
Right? So if your brother trespasses against you, or your wife, or your children, right? Or you offend against them, right? Right? What did it say? Read that.
If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him.
Rebuke him. Right? Tell them what they did to upset you. Tell them what they did. Right? It's different forms of rebuke, as we read back in what was that? 2 Timothy 3:16. All scriptures given right and probably for doctrine, reproof, and correction. You're gonna find a way to do this. So you can rebuke them, but all rebuke doesn't have to be the same way. Right? Find the one that's suitable for the situation and go about it that way. Right? But what's this part right here is what's important, right? Next part.
If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him. And if he repent, forgive him.
And if he what?
And if he repent, forgive him.
And if he repent, forgive him for that thing. Because at the end of the day, we all learning. Your child is learning. They're gonna make mistakes. Your wife is learning. She's gonna make mistakes. Some of these habits that we have, we learn these habits over a span of, I'm gonna just speak for me, 30 years before I came into the truth. Right? I've been in the truth, 5 years? I learned about the truth about 6 years. I'm not gonna be able to unlearn everything that I've learned in 5, 6 years. And the same way with them. They're gonna have habits, reoccurring habits. That's why the scriptures say a just man falleth 7 times. Right? But he stand up and he come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, and he repent. You see what I'm saying? We have to learn how to have that mercy and learn how to forgive people and understand that some people, hey, pull it up, that Galatians 6:1, because I was gonna get that.
I got it. You want it now?
You can put it up there. We're gonna read it next. But we gotta learn how to forgive one another instead of just casting people off. You just ain't gonna get it. Your wife get a little attitude with you. You shaking the hand, you rebuking her, you cussing out, getting disrespectful, right? And you just ain't gonna get it. I'm just not gonna deal with you. You don't get it. The Lord not dealing with you. No, brother, that's off.
Right.
I had to learn that. It's brothers around me that had to learn that. We all have to learn that in Israel to learn how to forgive and learn how to be patient. Because you expect them to forgive you, right? Certain brothers are with their wives from the world, and she forgave you for all type of stuff. Now you come into the truth, you can't forgive her, right? You can't forgive your brother, right? But the Most High ultimately forgave you. That's why you still here to do this work, right? Let's get Proverbs 27 and verse number 6. Right?
It's the book of Proverbs.
Chapter 27.
27 and 6.
27 and verse 6. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
So faithful are the wounds of a friend. So if you rebuking your friend, right, through the scriptures and you going according to the law, statutes, commandments, or whatever, right? Faithful are those wounds. My bad. I want to get this one right quick. Right, Galatians 6 and 1, it say, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, right, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted.
So I get with that one, Matthew 5 and 9 too is a precept. Go ahead, continue.
All praises to the Most High, right? So if people offend you, right, if a brother gonna be overtaken in a fault, or a sister overtaken in a fault, your child overtaken in a fault, you which are spiritual, restore in the what? Spirit of meekness. Considering thyself, because you don't want nobody talking to you crazy.
Right.
Your wife is supposed to be one flesh with you, right? Your wife is one flesh with you. But you talking to her in a manner that you don't want her talking to you, and that's off. Again, to teach is to twice learn. I was this person before. Wife get mad, you yelling at her, you off, you wicked, woo, right? But whole time you do something wrong, and she reflecting that same energy back off at you that you do to her, and now it's, hold on, don't talk to me like that. But hold on, brother, did you restore her in the spirit of meekness? So if you don't restore her in the spirit of meekness, how is she gonna learn how to restore you in the spirit of meekness? Right? And that ultimately comes back to you teaching them, having that balance. Everything doesn't call for the hammer. Sometimes you just need to grab the screwdriver, fix it, turn the screw a couple times, and tighten the thing back up.
Sometimes you just gotta plug it in.
Sometimes you just go ahead, Adawan.
So in the spirit of meekness, that's why I said, what was it? Matthews 5 and 9. A lot of times I'm looking in the chat. It says Proverbs 27 and 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. And that's good. That's good to rebuke somebody openly. But sometimes, especially when we're new in the truth, we be rebuking people that are not in the truth just to be right.
That's right.
We're not doing it in sincerity. We're doing it because we learned something and we think that we're better than them because they have yet to learn it. Or this is our opportunity to teach them, and instead of teaching them, we're teaching at them. Sometimes you gotta understand that you were in that person's spot, right? And not everybody is able to learn the same way. Like I can stand in front of GMS like I did when I was younger and having them cuss at me or whatever, telling me how all sorts of wickedness I am. And that was easy for me. But when I took that same spirit and I went home to my wife or like my mom or something, and I was teaching in that same spirit, and it wasn't in meekness, just to say that I was right. See, this is why I didn't want to do no damn Christmas, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And they can't receive it, Sometimes you gotta you gotta weigh the cost. Like, what you really doing it for? All right, I'm doing it because I love this person. All right, so let me do it in sincerity and really try to teach them.
Hey, and that's right, I don't want. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
right.
we've been missing our chance to actually teach that person that thing because the first time we came at them wrong. That's the reason why we have so many camps, because uh, what I can teach someone, they're not going to receive it, but they'll receive it from like ICPK or whatever, whoever. I
That's right. Hey, and that's right. And every spirit bears witness to different things, right? That ultimately, your wife, your spouse, is gonna be that person that you're attracted to. And to be real with you, you're gonna 9 times out of 10, the way you are and the way you like to be handled is gonna be the way your family likes to be handled also. Right? You don't want to be disrespected, you shouldn't disrespect your family. You want to be loved, your family wants to be loved. Right? Um and it's funny that Sister Baya put out that precept, that's where we was going. Uh Proverbs 27, and we started verse 5, but she put out another precept. Let me see. 2 John 1 and 8. Look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, which we have worked for, wrestled for, right? But we receive a full reward. But that we receive a full reward. Con, I'll praise to the Most High. Real talk. Let's get Proverbs 27 and verse number 5.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 5.
Huh?
Open rebuke is better than secret love.
So open rebuke is better than a secret love, right? Telling somebody that they wrong is showing you that you love them. It's showing them that you love them. But like we said in Galatians 6, and what we want to do, we want to try to restore them in the spirit of meekness. Sometimes somebody needs to be yelled at. Sometimes I need to be yelled at. And I ain't gonna lie, sometimes that's how I receive certain things. I need to be called out on my BS. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
That's a lot here. There's always two sides of a coin, right? Because I remember when this is before I was in the truth. I was, an overbearing Christian, basically. And when I read Proverbs 27 and 5, that light bulb. That's what I need to be doing, open rebuke. Because I love these people. So guess what? I'm gonna rebuke them openly. And everything was wrong. Like, oh, you celebrating Christmas? Wrong. You celebrating Valentine's Day? Wrong. Like, I was just going ham, but I wasn't. Salakia, take that back. We don't do ham on the stage, but you know what I mean. But I was going crazy, right? And it made people move away from me because not everyone could take it that way. No one like people couldn't take that correction that with that type of energy. You know what I mean? Because I'm coming at you harsh. Because how much I detested, I'm coming at you with that same energy. But people think that you're talking to them with that energy, but I'm talking about the thing that they're doing with that energy. You know what I mean? It's hard for people to perceive. Okay, I'm talking about your action, not really you, because I love you. It's just like someone about to run in front of a car. Hey, get out the way. I'm gonna scream loud at them because I don't want them to get hit, right? But they don't see it that way because the situation, they can't see the danger in the situation. You feel me?
Great con. All praise. Sister Gabriella, can you post? I wasn't watching the chat when you asked that question, so I don't know what you're talking about. Let's say, how does a wife do this with her husband? Can you let me know what you're talking about so a brother can answer that for you, Baba Kushar? So Proverbs. Let's go back to Proverbs chapter 27 and verse number 5, and read down to verse 6.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Verse 6, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
Right. So we know that sometimes people need to be rebuked. Right. Oh, I said something earlier that I kind of want to fix a little bit. The way we want our wives to speak to us is the way we should speak to them. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Because I ultimately can take a person, a brother, or I can ultimately take a correction to where you could tell me, that was stupid. I could take that. Right? But you say that to your wife, she might look at it, you calling her stupid.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And it's going to ultimately lead to her being offended. And now she's going to feel like she has to defend herself. And she's going to talk to you in a way. And you're going to be like, hold on. You're going to be going, hold on. Why are you talking to me like that? But you didn't restore her in the spirit of meekness. And we gotta learn how to deal with our wives in the spirit of meekness. Right? Deal with them as if she's a part of you, because she is a part of you. Pull that up. We're gonna get to that. Right. We're gonna get to that. So let's get right. So everything don't require a harsh response, right? Let's get Proverbs 18 and verse number 19. All right, I ain't got that much to go, y'all. I promise I ain't got that much to go. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse number 19. And this is why having a balance in your rebuke and your reproof and your correction, that's what I meant. I don't want. Yeah, you deal with them as the weaker vessel. That's right. I couldn't find the word for some reason.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 9. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. And
right. So a person offended is going to be harder to win than a strong city. You come in, you yelling like I don't want to say you come in and talk to your friend with like GMS, right? You yelling, you calling people out their name, you shaking the hand at them, you kicking them in the butt, right? You're gonna push them away from this thing. Right, not to call out their congregation. That's not what I meant to do. But it was just
Slovakia. I wanted to say the same thing when I said that about GMS. I didn't mean that in any way because I was actually learning from them, brother.
Yeah, con. We learned.
I can accept that, but other people can't.
Right. I can accept that too. You get what I'm saying? But everybody's not going to receive that the same way. Right? You take that because you look at that like, man, I just learned the truth. Right? Oh man, they just got me with that, so I'm finna go home. This is obviously how it has to be done. No, everybody's not gonna receive it. Everybody's not gonna receive it that way. Right? So if you offend people, right, they're gonna be harder to win back into this truth. Right? Let's read that again, Baba Kashad.
What was that? I'm sorry. Read Salakia.
Proverbs 18:19.
A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. And their contentions are like the bars of a castle.
Hey, that's right. So winning them back over is gonna be like you trying to take down a castle with a city, with an army. Right? They contentions, I don't want to hear nothing that Bible got to say, because if it make you act like that, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Man, we see that a lot.
Right? Yeah, I believe in the Bible, but I don't believe what you're talking about because you don't know how to act. You don't know how to talk to people. Right? It's all about having that balance. Right? Let's jump down to verse number 24.
Verse 24. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly.
So are you a person that's being friendly to people? And you expect people to treat you a certain way? Are you treating them the same way? You expecting your wife to give you the utmost respect? Are you giving her the utmost respect? Right? You teaching your son. You expect your son to have this reverence, your children to have this reverence for you. But are you teaching them in a manner that's respectful according to the law? Right? It's saying First Timothy. Let me gotta find it. Let me see. What am I looking for? I'm looking for provoke not your, what is that? Provoke not your son. Let me see. To wrath.
Oh, I mean, parents don't provoke your children to wrath.
I didn't write that down. Let me see. 13. Brother, find that for me, Bobby Kashar. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 4.
Yeah, Con, I got it. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 4. And ye fathers,
right,
provoke not your children to
matter of
wrath.
fact, start at verse.
You start at 1 or?
Yeah, Con, start at verse number 1.
It's Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise.
Right.
That it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath.
So that's the balance in that, right? It's telling your child that they gotta listen to everything you say. Right? They gotta reverence you, right? Because the honor of your mother and your father, right, is the first commandment with promise that you're gonna live a long life.
Right.
Right? But don't what is this word? I don't know why I can't find it. Don't it's not taken for granted. Don't misuse it. Don't misuse that authority. Right? And what it say, and ye fathers provoke not your children to wrath.
Come. But bring them,
keep going.
But bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord.
But bring them up in nurture and the admonition of the Lord. So we gotta nurture them in this thing. Everything doesn't require a whooping.
Right.
Everything doesn't require you raising your voice. Right? It doesn't require that. And that's something that I had to learn. The balance is one thing that I didn't necessarily have coming up. I wasn't taught growing up. Right? So, yeah, with that being said, let's get Ephesians 4 and 26. That's important. Let's get Ecclesiastes 7 and 16. And we're gonna close it out with actually we're gonna stop. We're gonna not Ecclesiastes 4 and 26. Let's get Ecclesiastes 7 and 9.
Okay. There's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 9. Be not hasty in this slaughter. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry. For anger resteth in the in the bosoms of fools.
Right? Be not hasty to be angry. That's just plain upon tables, right? Don't be a person. If you're gonna be angry, sin not. Right? That's what Ephesians 4 and 26 say. Be angry and what? Sin not. Right? And don't be quick to get mad and so angry at everything. Well, you gotta be wrathful. Right? Because we gotta think about it like this. If the Lord did that every time we went off, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
Right? We're gonna close it out Um, we're gonna go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, started from verse 1, and we're gonna close this thing up.
Done. It's the book of Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
So everything has a time and a purpose, right? Everything has a time and a purpose. So the book of Ecclesiastes is a book about balance, right? Matter of fact, let's go to nah, that's okay. We can stay there. So it's about balance. It's gonna teach you balance. I implore everybody, especially the prospects coming in, to read Ecclesiastes. That's a perfect book about understanding balance, right?
God.
So to everything has a season, and what read verse 1 again, Salakia.
Verse 1.
Right.
To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven.
Right.
Under
Are you gonna wear your shorts in the wintertime? Are you wearing your big coat in the summertime? No. Right? It's out of season, it's out of purpose. Right? So are you gonna laugh and show folly during the time of work? No. Are you gonna be serious in a time of mirth? No. Right? So much better it is to understand the ways of discipline when dealing with your family or dealing with a contention. Right? Sometimes you just a talking to over a whooping. Sometimes they just need their butt whooped. Sometimes your kids just might need their butt whooped. Versus the talking ain't working. You got to try something else. But you have to understand the balance and not just be one-sided in anything and nothing whatsoever. Right? If you only had hot summer days, you wouldn't appreciate the fall days. Right? If you only had hot summer days and it was always green, you wouldn't appreciate the orange, yellow, the browns, and the tans of the fall. You wouldn't appreciate it. Right? But everything is a balance. Right? So to everything there is a season, and to every time there's a purpose under the heaven. Right? Keep reading verse 2.
Verse 2. A time to be born,
and
a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to break up. A time to weep.
No, a time to build up.
And a time to build up.
Right? So it's sometimes times when you got to kill certain habits. Right? And it's gonna be certain times you gotta heal. Right? It's gonna be certain times you gotta break down strongholds. Sometimes you gotta build people up. Right? You see an error in your family. You see an error in yourself. You don't just break them down and leave it. No, you break that thing down. You come through with that rod of correction, and then you teach them the right way. You build them back up through the Spirit. Right? Keep going.
Okay. Verse 4. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to gather, a time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together.
Right.
A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing.
Sometimes you have to learn how to let certain things go. Right? If you got something that's stopping you from doing the work of the Lord, ultimately stopping you from spending the correct time with your family, you got a family member that's just basically stop you from doing what you're supposed to, your purpose in life, sometimes you just got to let them go. Sometimes you have to let your job go. It just is what it is. all about balance, right? Keep reading.
Verse 6, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace.
Calm. Read verse 8 one more time.
Verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace.
So I want brothers and sisters to try to find that balance in your life, right? Understand when it's time for love in your house, right? Understand when it's time to hate. Understand when it's a time for war. Understand when it's time when you go home. It's the time for peace. Understand the balance. It's not one-sided in none of the stuff that we do. The Lord is a perfect God. What makes him perfect is that he's even. Right? So with that being said, this lesson went way longer than I expected it to. Salakia for that.
Praises.
I yield. I hope it was edifying for everybody here. Did that sister question get answered?
Which one?
Sister Gabriella.
Yeah, I think it did actually.
I think Abaya answered her.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, because I know this is the question she had, right?
I think there's some context before that.
Oh, there was?
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
That's what I'm looking for. I see what she had said.
It was at 1:38 p.m.
1:38?
Yeah, 1:38.
1:38. So if her husband is like in transgression. Let's go to Matthew 18. Matthew 18 and 15. Galatians 6 and 1 and Matthew 18 and 15.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 18.
Let's go to
verse
Galatians
15.
6 and 1 first, though.
Okay. Go to Galatians. Unless you got it, Benjamin. Galatians. I got it.
Yeah, I got it. It's the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted.
Right. So, sister, ultimately, what you want to do is when you go to talk to your husband, you want to restore him in the spirit of meekness. You're going to him spiritually, right? If he's in the law, statutes, commandments, the way he's supposed to be, right? You go to that brother humbly, right? And let him know what's going on, right? If you go to restore him, let's go to Matthew chapter 18 and verse 15.
I got a precept in between after Matthew 15.
And what you want to do is show him where he's in transgression, and things like that, right? Let's go to this Matthew 18 and 15.
It's the book of Matthew, Matthew chapter 18 and verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone.
So tell him between y'all have that talk at home between y'all alone, right? Don't go around telling everybody else, right? At first, give him that opportunity, right? Keep going.
If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
Right? You gained your brother back. Ultimately, your husband is your brother, right? So if you bring him, you come to him in the spirit of meekness, right? You being spiritual about it. You going to the law like, look, this is off, and you going to him, talking to him, and if he hear you, you got your husband. You got your husband back. All praise to the Most High. But let's just say he's hard headed or he's stubborn, right? If that doesn't work, keep going.
Verse 16. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established.
Right. So still don't go gospel about it. Just seek counseling. Seek counseling for that thing, sis. And all praise to the Most High. And
let me get a precept in there real quick.
All right, Con, hold on. So, yeah, seek counseling for that thing if he doesn't hear you. And yeah, go back to but ultimately you want to restore the spirit of meekness. Benjamin kind of threw me off when you jumped in. That's lucky.
My fault.
Yeah.
Lucky. You said to go?
Yeah, go ahead. All right.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20, verse 1. There is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some man holdeth his tongue, and he is wise. Verse 2, it's much better to reprove than to be angry secretly, and he that confesseth his fault shall be preserved from hurt. So it's better to reprove, right, than to be secret angrily at a person. So like, with you and your husband, you guys have to find that common ground, and when you do reprove prove him. You understand? You have to also do so in meekness, like how the brother was saying. So you have to keep that in mind. You can't get into your flesh. Can't get into your emotions. You got to do things spiritually and righteously. So, there you go.
We can leave it. Yeah, let's get the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 18, and close this thing out through the spirit. Y'all brothers got anything y'all want to say before we do it?
Yes, Salakia, before we go there, just want to give a few other announcements I didn't give at the beginning of class. We just finished the prospect phase, as most everyone know. Well, first of all, let me do this, because I think Officer Yawasab came out with a mighty class. So that definitely deserves some air horns, right? All praises. But so now what I want to get out is that we just finished a prospect phase, and we just have some brothers come over and join the congregation. All praises for them. But we will be starting another prospect phase. So any brothers out there in the United States, you watch us on YouTube, you watch us on the different other social platforms. If you are interested in joining and helping put your brick in to build this congregation, please send us an email to anointedhos@gmail.com. Also, we need to let this be known that if any sisters are willing to join the congregation, do the same exact thing. Give us your interest by sending an email to anointedhos@gmail.com. And that's all that I have. I enjoyed the class. I hope it was edifying for everyone. Anyone else on here? Adawan, you got anything you want to say? Banyamyan, you have anything you want to say before we close out?
No, it was a great class. Mighty lesson.
Con, it was a very mighty lesson. I just wanted to leave y'all with one scripture. It's 1 Peter 4:8. Above all, love each other deeply. I think I'm reading it wrong. Can somebody read that for me?
Con.
You said 1 Peter 4 and what?
4 and 8.
Yeah, this is the book of 1 Peter 4 and 8. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins.
So we have to show our works by loving each other, by building a nation. I implore us all to do this, in camp, out camp, whatever. We need to build ourselves. We need to get 1% better every year. Something a wise man once told me. Get 1% better every year.
Right.
We do that, we'll be on track as a nation.
That's right. That's right. And we're gonna get this Daniel. Anyone wants to get it, or Daniel 7?
You got it.
All right, let me pull it up. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 18, and it reads, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever." And with that, we are the Anointed House of Saints with Sabbath Morning Brew. Glad that you were here to sit in class with us. I am Officer Knott.
Officer Yawasop.
Benjamin.
Captain Cano.
And we wish you to have a happy Shabbat. Shalom, everyone. Shalom.
Shalom, man. Shalom.
Shalom, family.
This is not a test.
Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce.
All praises to the Most High. And I ain't letting go. Tell the devil it ain't enough. Nah. What you going through, keep going. I'm sure if they had their way, I been stopped. See, I can see them from a mile away. They in the cut, no high play. Never been a fool, won't start the day. And I'ma play my part. Much is given, much required. I won't let them treat me out my place. Up, I gotta show where I'm from, how they play it hard. Don't know why I thought that it would change. When I came in, it's true. Once you peep the facial loans, then you're cool. The way they play the game, flaw, I never do. Stay in your place, I'm like a paw to these little dudes. And we gon' give most how the praise he brought me through it. My mind stay like anything we could do it. We putting work up on this faith and we improve. I tried to tell them I ain't new to this. First we did it, now they doing it. Sticking to the manuscript. I think they follow the blueprint. Elohim sending me did not go. Tell my enemies to step it up. Tell the devil it ain't a no. Keep on going on and on and on and on and on. I'm fighting. I'm fighting. I ain't letting go. I'm gonna keep on going on and on and on. It ain't a no. And on. Tell the devil it ain't a no. I'm fighting. Look at all that we done been through. We done overcame all that they pretend to. We don't fold, we don't bend. We knew in due time we would overcome. It's like a jungle sometimes. It made me wonder how I keep from going on. Can't experience our world. Most I said look up at the birds, think about it. Call them bird brain, but somehow they maintain. If I do that for them, if for you, don't you think I'ma do the same thing or more? Gratitude, grateful. You said no one gotta support you, I separate. Get two, walk together, let's stay agree. Be the hand, I be the knee. Don't matter to me, get on your job, no indeed. Don't wanna hear your sob story, no indeed. Teach you how to lead this life for peace. Take the choice, blessings and curses. You know we in the week, and you can't stand next to me if you pretend. Before the 12, we ain't doing to the end. Go.